Welcome to this CU Digital Town Hall, and it's number 92. It's Wednesday, August 24th. Just drove myself all the way back from Tampa, and I'm excited to share some of what I've seen along the road. And today we're going to talk about the Metaverse. Why? Because I want to talk about it. That's really why. Plus, I just like wearing this on my head and being weird for those of you that can see me. So here we are at our hosts. I am John Best. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Best Innovation Group, and we do a ton of stuff lately. Two big things we do is we do our Innovation Club, which is a group of credit unions that meets bi-monthly and in person, and we go over things that we think are going to affect sort of the future world, and there's a lot of that out there. So we try to talk about what those ingredients are and what those types of things look like. And we've spent a lot of time sort of curating a list of technologies that we think are going to be impactful, one of which will be this. So I'll get into this in a minute. Let's talk about our sponsors. We're very, very fortunate to have CUNA Councils as one of our sponsors. It's the national association that advocates for the entire credit union movement, but also for every portion of the credit union, every discipline within the credit union. CUNA Councils is there. You want to go to a session or a conference just about HR, they got you covered. If you want to do something for lending, they got you covered. Not only that, but you'll meet great people there. I cannot, more highly recommend the CUNA Councils. So if you haven't checked it out, go to www.cuna.org. Speaking of highly recommending things, Correlation. So Correlation is the newest kid on the block. It's the only dedicated credit union core, meaning that it's they don't cater to anyone else but credit unions. And the folks that started it have been in the business for a long time. What I love about it is it's very, 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 very open. And with it being so open, you can pretty much do anything. If you can dream it, if you got an idea for a service, if you got an idea for a feature, if you got an idea for an offering for your membership, you absolutely can make it happen with this platform. Now let's talk about MemberPass. So MemberPass, is from Bonify, formerly CU Ledger, and what MemberPass is the way to basically log in to your credit union without using any kind of third-party platform. Something where you can get someone in the middle. Madison, you were at this meeting last week. We had Roger Grimes in, and Roger wrote a book on how to defeat multi-factor, and we were sharing with him. We were talking about all the different ways that multi-factor would be defeated and how people do it and how he had beat those. And we talked about this, and we talked about FIDO, which also integrates with MemberPass. And he was like, yep, that's the one that really is, there's always, nothing's bulletproof, but that's really, really difficult to get by. And all it simply is registering your device, registering it with you in a known way for the service. And then it works so easy if you're on the teller line or in the call center, simply press a button, the member's phone pops up, says, is that you? And if it is you, you go in. But the difference between that and everything else is that it's done through a back end that's a blockchain platform where more than one system has to approve it, not just one. So it makes it very hard to fish, very hard to duplicate. If you haven't read Roger's book on MFA, I highly recommend it. Madison, maybe you can find the link and throw it out there. Scary stuff. Speaking of scary stuff and good stuff, CU Broadcast. If you're ever in the business of, hey, I got a couple hours or I have an hour today, I want to learn something new, that's the place to go. He interviews everybody who's anybody in the industry. Not only does he interview them, but he's thoughtfully interviews them. He asks the right questions. So if you haven't seen Mike Lawson on CU Broadcast, which I assume all of you have, he's the guy to go talk to. So very, very exciting stuff with Mr. Lawson. And finally, Big. And I'll take a minute and talk about Big. So Big was invented when I realized that I was in the business of sort of selling home banking products, and we had a fantastic product. I always believed that we really had built something special, and organizations would buy that product and they would sort of expect the results that we were getting at the credit union I was with at the time, which was Westcom, which was a phenomenal credit union. But they then wouldn't exactly get those results. And I realized that there was so much more that went into being successful in home banking or digital as we looked at it than just buying a product. And I realized all the little things that were done by the staff and all the little things that were done by folks who were, throughout the organization that were really bringing the product to life. That it's not just about the screen that's in front of you. It's about how well it's taken care of. It's about how well people can explain it to everybody. It's about how intuitive it is in terms of getting you in touch with your group. It's about how we put the ads out there. It's about when we put the ads out there. It's not just about sort of finding the tool. And with that in mind, I said, there's two things I see a gap in for, the creating space. One was innovation, and that was brought forth by attending MIT's Innovation Sloan for the Sloan Executive Group, which was fantastic. And I realized true innovation, most credit unions were kind of doing innovation in a way that was, hey, we got a budget of like 50 grand and we'll buy some stuff and play with it. But true innovation is a discipline. It's as real and it's as comprehensive as your HR department is, meaning that there are rules, there are processes, there are people who do it every day. It's not a part-time job. But I also know that that's not cheap, particularly for a not-for-profit organization. So step one was we started big to find credit unions who wanted to innovate, credit unions that want, not just looking for the 2 and the 3 year solution, but looking for that 7 to 10 year timeline. What will life be like in 2030? That's the question we asked ourselves in 2020. We asked ourselves the same question for 2025 and 2014. And we've been really good at sort of predicting some of those things. Like we saw RPA coming as a very valuable resource. We got in on it early. We taught a lot of folks about that. We saw the blockchain coming. We got in on that early. We talked about it. We were able to sort of understand it. And we weren't suggesting people go in and buy things or do things. What we wanted to do was learn what it was all about. And that way, when you're making decisions on your platforms and what you're doing, you have these things in your mind. One of which right now would be the metaverse, which we'll get to here in a minute. So that was one aspect of it. The other place I saw a big gap, was really understanding digital as a discipline and not as a product. And so I actually put a book out about that, which I'm sure Melissa can post Maddie can post into the chat. I wrote a whole book on it because I realized that there was just a lot of holes that, hey, you can give people the keys to an incredible, device like a backhoe or something, but if you don't know how to use it, or you don't have the people to use it, or you're missing the resources, it's hard to do no matter how good you are. So we sort of dedicated ourselves to help building out that strategy to help people understand what we're doing there. And then the final piece was I sort of predicted that the SDKs, meaning the software development kits that come with home banking, would get better and more fantastic, but also that there wasn't going to be enough people around or enough bandwidth at the Alchemies of the world and the larger players for them to do the work, there on the SDKs, and that the credit would also, I knew those resources were going to run dry based on what I was seeing. And we knew that that was something we like doing. We like adding things to your home banking. We love that. We love the ideas that people have, like, skip a pay forever. I love that. Wiring that into the crate, wiring in the car controls, which makes people's lives better. All of those types of solutions. So that's who big is. People sometimes go, you just skip over it. I had somebody say that the other day. So I did not skip over it this time. Speaking of that, Mr. Lawson, I see you. You can't hide, buddy.
I know. Hang on. Oh, yeah. All my interviews ran long today, so I apologize for my tardiness.
Oh, well, you are not tardy at all, my friend. We're happy to have you here.
Actually, I just had the winners from the CU Build competition that was took place last month, and it's a hackathon that Adele Glenn and Brad Hickey from American Airlines Credit Union put on each year, and had the winners on. So it was really cool what they came up with. And they're going to be featured at the Jack Henry Connect conference next week. So yeah, it was really exciting. Good stuff out there.
Yeah, I was talking to Bert Frazier about that. Very, very cool.
Yeah. Pretty talented folks out there. Stuff. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
So yeah, we were kind of talking about the Innovation Club, and today I was going to talk about the metaverse in general. So we did an on-site meeting at Suncoast, and we did just so many things. There's so much we went through. It's more than we can go through. But I wanted to jump over to kind of the metaverse. So this is us at our on-site kind of going over things, and super fun. You can see there's Roger Grimes and the
Roger
group out there. But yeah, Roger was there. We were going over quantum. So there's an example of something that is going to be a really big deal over time, is what's going to happen with the quantum space. And he likens it to a sudden Y2K. Like, Y2K, we knew when it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But right now, we don't know when quantum's going to happen. But when it does, it's a whole bunch of work for everybody. And we're going to have Roger back on here to talk about quantum, give an update, probably in the near future. So I don't want to steal that thunder. But no, we were working on this concept of AR versus XR, and we went out and we just kind of, this is us with a whole lot of the other Canadians getting together to kind of talk about all the things that were out there. I think Mark who's here was there. Super fun. We actually did this. If you look up at the top, Angry Birds on this. This is called Top Golf. For those of you that have not been, it's a golfing platform. But what they also have is basically augmented reality golf. So you're shooting at like Angry Birds up here at the top, and that's what Cynthia Schroeder and I are discussing there. So I was going to jump in and I'm going to go over a couple slides here that I just want to discuss and talk about with you. So don't worry about the barking. That's just what we do now here. A lot of barking. All right, so kind of jump in. So I got a question for you, Mike. Mike.
Yes, sir.
My question for you.
Oh gosh.
Is now? Have you heard these terms? Have you heard AR versus VR versus MR, and then you got XR?
I've heard the terms, but I'm not as well versed in them as you and probably Lou are. So, but I know of them. So, but yeah, I know.
Well, Lou, yeah. So Lou, I'll describe these, and you tell me if you've got kind of a better way to describe them. But the augmented reality is sort of you're adding sort of what I'll call labels or details to things in your world. So hey, I'm looking at this this product, or I'm looking at this whatever building, and it's telling me on the number of calories in the product. I get this little overlay that is telling me a few interesting things. So
my kids use it all the time.
Augmented.
My kids use augmented reality all the time. On their phone or iPad or whatever, they add things to the video or the picture or whatever, or the phone call or the FaceTime call. You can add all sorts of. So yeah, that's the augmented part of it. So, and I'm thinking,
actually, that's.
Go ahead.
No, that's actually mixed reality, what they're doing. So if they're adding hey, there's a dancing bear in your scene now. It's not there for everyone else, but it's there as long as you're peering through that mixed reality platform, right?
How about some cars, some good, nice cars feature heads-up displays? I would put that in the AR category.
Yes. Yeah. A heads-up display definitely goes in the AR. So the heads-up display might tell you, it might overlay a map, of where you're going to, or tell you information about the exits, or it may tell you information about the information about your car. You can see, your gas and things like that without looking away from the windshield. So that's an excellent definition. So what would you give your definition for mixed, Lou?
I was going to put Angry Birds in the augmented reality, but by your definition, I think you're putting that in MR. You know what I would say? All these people who are on, which one is it? Instagram? No, which one is it that you add like little cat ears to your picture, or the little?
Was that Snapchat?
Thank you, Snapchat.
That was Snapchat. Yeah.
Yes, I would put Snapchat, like adding, and then even as you move your head around, the nose
stays with you.
Your head. I'm going to put that in the category of mixed reality.
Excellent. Yes, that is very true. Also, Pokemon Go is a great example of mixed reality. So, you point your screen down and you see the little creature run back and forth
Mm-hmm.
in our world, but it's only through the phone. And then there's virtual reality. Now, the difference with virtual reality is that all of these other ones require you to see the world around you. But as you can see with this, it's covered. This is what we call virtual reality, which is this device is responsible for creating the entire environment that I see inside of here. So it's not planning things in my real world, it's creating an entire world for me. Would you agree with that, Lou?
You're totally immersed.
Yeah, here's my definition
Yes.
of VR. Everybody has no legs. Nobody has legs in VR.
Yeah, because legs are difficult. You're exactly right.
Everybody is from the waist up.
Is a torso.
Right. Yep.
Although I must say,
Roblox
does a really good job of adding legs. So
yes, Roblox is
our girls play that all the time, and so I watch that like, oh, that's pretty impressive.
Now, the one that's come out lately is called XR, and that's where you combine all of these into one thing, and that also is very, very interesting. The idea that, okay, I can add augmented reality, so I can give you information that's valuable about the environment you're in. I can add something to the environment you're in that's really not there, but as long as everybody's looking through the same lens, they would all see it. Or I can black out the environment altogether and we can share experience a la the holodeck, granted with no legs. And when I mix all this together, we call it extended reality. And this year's CES, the extended reality pavilion was the biggest pavilion there, by far. So this is something I thought would be just interesting to sort of cover to begin with. Now, let's kind of talk about what's been going on, the different platforms and stuff that are out there. So I'll kind of start here. So let's look at the various just the various pieces here. So we could see that the standalone headsets, right? Mixed reality and virtual reality headsets are by far the game changers. Then you've got the tethered ones. Now, tethered means it has a cable attached to it. So in this case, I have a cable attached to this one. That's only because I'm charging it right now and I plan on showing it on the screen. But this one is completely not tethered, meaning that I don't have to have this cable and I don't have to set anything else up. But you can get far more fidelity and far more information by tethering it, meaning you're just basically pumping the screens that you see through a computer, which has a much bigger power supply, a much bigger capability to run graphics and things like that. And the screenless viewer, as you can see, is non-existent. So it just isn't something that's there yet. But as you can see, as we grow, look at the number of headsets. So that was kind of interesting, looking at what the forecast kind of look like going forward. So what's the hubbub about? Well, the hubbub about is this. This is what everybody's waiting for. So you mentioned it a minute ago that, Mike, that your kids, they're constantly sort of adding things on like FaceTime or whatever. But the problem is to do that, they got to pick up their phone and they got to look through it and do what they're going to do, right?
Right.
And that's kind of right now, people ask me, what are we driving towards, John? And that was a great question we had. And we're driving towards convenience, right? So, mixed reality and augmented reality are great, but if you always have to pick up your phone and do it, sometimes is the information worth it? You don't even know because you haven't seen it. And so that kind of leads you into, and this is an example of a mixed reality device, which I will show. And we've shown this before. This is the HoloLens, right?
Oh, yeah, that's
right now, is this something I want to wear around? I don't know. It's not too far off. I mean,
depends on where you are.
For people to get. Yeah, I mean, is it a Walmart device? I don't know. Maybe. Who? Let's ask the question to the group. So, who would be willing to wear this out? Maybe not to dinner, but like shopping and around. If it gave you value, if it had features in it, like especially Lou, I'm thinking for spending. That's where my head is. Telling you how much something is, giving you more details, maybe seeing your account balances as it relates to your shopping, those sorts of things.
Do you remember how much whiplash people who were wearing Google glasses got for wearing Google glasses out in public?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Those ones.
You think it's like that?
It's even geekier.
I could see that. But remember how people and there's still people who walk around with these headsets in their ears that are like this long. We got used to those. And if you go to a truck stop, they're walking around in full like aircraft controller gear. Like they got full like microphones and big headsets, and they're connected back to their truck. They're never disconnected from that. But I suppose it's all about convenience and reward that's going to relate to comfort and embarrassment, right? Which eventually everybody gets over, But to your point, it could be that geeky. But if it provided value, if it provided a heavy value, well, then maybe, So this is what Apple, the latest on sort of the Apple. Nobody knows. Like I don't know. This is actually from a website that I follow where they really follow their patents, and they try to use their patents to gauge when they're going to release product. And I would say they're okay. They're not fantastic at it, but they've been somewhere in the 60 to 70% range, which is better than everybody else who's been guessing, like Gizmodo and stuff like that. But the convenience of it, what if you didn't have a phone to carry around? What if you just had a watch and you had this, or not this, but something like this? But that's still pretty big. So this is what the big game is. And remember, Apple never comes out and tries to be the first. They've already let Microsoft come out. They've already let our friends at Magic Leap come out. But let me show you a use case that I think will kind of blow your mind. This just came out last week or week before last. I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. I wanna restart my share just to make sure I optimized for sound. So 1 second here.
And before you get to that, John, isn't that why everyone's so intrigued with what Apple will come out with? Because they have a history of some pretty incredible design, some pretty incredible products design-wise. So I think that's what people are so kind of sitting on pins and needles and waiting for this to come out, because when they do something, it's usually, especially design-wise, it's usually pretty good. So I think when they come out with some glasses, well, let's see what they got for us. So
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing. So, but this, to me, this was something we all kind of, this really drove it home for me. So I'm gonna play this. I think it's worth our minute and one to watch this. So Mike, if you'll be my guinea pig here and make sure you tell me you can kind of hear it and see it. Yeah. So I'm gonna run it.
Go ahead. Yep.
My mother speaks Mandarin.
Can you hear it?
And I speak English, which is a strange thing.
他讲英文我可以听得懂，可是有时候我讲不来嘛。
We'd love to be able to share with you a new prototype we've been working on. You should be seeing what I'm saying, just transcribed for you in real time, kind of like subtitles for the world.
What we're working on is technology that enables us to break down language barriers, taking years of research in Google Translate and bringing that to glasses.
You see me? Oh, sí te veo. I'm actually looking straight into your eyes, and it seems like you're looking right at me. Oh, sí, estoy viendo lo que estás diciendo para ayudarte.
Making access to information just instant and intuitive. By doing that, technology fades into the background, and we're more connected with the people and the things around us. Giving people the gift of communicating with anyone, no matter what language they speak, I think is a really powerful thing.
Que tengo que dialogar con muchas personas que solamente hablan inglés. Como magia para mí, porque voy a ver cosas que voy a entender lo que ellos dicen por completo y...
Yes, 可以互相沟通。我爱你。
So that was just put out recently. And that's for those of you who would like to share it with somebody else, I'll stick it in the chat.
Yeah. The hearing impaired one was a bit of a surprise. I didn't see that coming, and that's be a game changer for a lot of people.
Yeah, and you know, my first thought was I kind of know what this technology is built on. You know, I kind of know what this technology is built on, and at the end of the day, where I was going with this is this could be put into the call center.
Oh, completely.
Like, and it, you know, the thing is, you need the other side to have something too if they don't speak English. But if you wanted, you could easily have something instead of using the glasses, it could just appear on your screen. Where it's because what's happened is there's just been this big jump that's happened in the last like year, where there's GPT-3, which is an AI platform that took a big jump from OpenAI. There's Riva from NVIDIA. I just met with them yesterday about that. It was pretty phenomenal. We went over how Riva works, and I'm going to just show you a quick message because I know if I'm you, I'm going to compare this to my experience with Alexa, and my picture of it is me going, "I love you, Grandma," and the other side says, "Do you have a vacuum?" You know, or something along those lines. So let me just show you how accurate what they're working with can be, because it's a very big difference of what they're working with in the Alexa technology. So, 1 second here. So I'm going to optimize and play.
Could this be something you could incorporate with 5, John? With speaking of Best Innovation Group, is this something you could incorporate?
And that was something people are interested in us getting into the call center space for some of this, but I don't want to go into the call center space because there are people who do it great. I'd rather try to find a way that we can provide value with what's there. So this is a product called Revo. And just to show you how fast it can go, and I'll put this link in the chat as well.
I'm Ben, and this is Hot Hardware. Today, we're taking a look at the NVIDIA Jetson AGX Orin development kit. This is the latest top-of-the-line AI, machine learning, and robotics development kit from NVIDIA. It's based on Ampere technology with some ARM 64 cores, running Linux, Ubuntu Linux 20.04 long-term support LTS version. So what we're doing here is we're demoing NVIDIA's Riva ASR, or automated speech recognition. It uses machine learning and some pre-trained models that automatically translate what you say into text, and you can see.
So could you see that, Mike?
Yeah, totally.
So you saw how quickly that was going. Notice it didn't pick up any of his uhs. No uhs. So this model, this idea of augmented reality isn't always just based on, you know, seeing Pokemon and all these other things. There's practical use cases for it, which I find fascinating. So I'm going to go ahead, and I think I'm sharing my screen again. Can you see the slide deck, Mike?
Yep.
So this was an interesting one. Quest 2 is coming out. Now, what was interesting about the Quest 2 is this part of it. So as you can see, notice the like facial recognitions. So they're really banking on this idea that you're going to be able to put, this is their Quest, Project Cambia is their Meta Quest Pro. This is a Quest 2. What I'm showing you will be the next one. But theoretically, this guy here, you know, has the ability for to do this, but it can't pick up your facial features and things like that. But you know what it can do, or the new ones can do? You use your eyes. So you can use your eyes for your menu. So if you look up, you get a menu system, and you can just look over and you can see the menu system move with you, right? So they're really trying to bank on the next Facebook is going to be this online experience where you have an avatar, and this avatar is something that you use in your world on a regular basis to sort of interact with everyone else, which is funny because when we look at it practically from the previous platform, it's easy to understand that we're already doing that in so many ways. You know, on Discord, you know, you're one name, and you know, in eBay, you're a different one. So you already have sort of these personas. Now they're just getting face, and they're getting more personal, and they're becoming more real in that world. So interesting stuff from what's going on with Meta. We already hit this slide. Then there's Magic Leap, right? So Magic Leap is a competitor for this platform. Now, Magic Leap's idea, and I know the guy who runs this, Roni, he's amazing. So his thought is like, imagine we all go to a stadium, right? And we all watch a U2 concert, but people who have these on are getting a whole different experience. Like, there's giant things going on in the middle of the stadium that U2 has put out there for everyone to see who's wearing something like this. Or there's sort of a game that everybody can be involved in that's going around. You're grabbing the words from the lyrics, they're floating over your head. All these crazy ideas that can happen. But they also have a lot of value in surgeries. They have a lot of value for people who are doing sort of physical work that, use their hands. So where does this kind of leave us on these platforms? And that's what I kind of wanted to talk about today, is a little bit of kind of what we've been looking at. And we've been really surprised at the reaction to this, far more than I thought it would be. So we thought it'd be fun, Mike.
Yes.
To go ahead and you should be still looking at my screen, right?
I am.
So here's the MetaBranch AI site, right? So this is a site where you can come and sign up. And what I'm going to announce today is, here shortly, we're going to send out an email to everybody who signed up, and we're going to allow you to download our APK, our new APK. And just to show you kind of what that looks like is, now instead of just being a platform where you can go in and see like a MetaBranch, like just a branch, you can actually go in, and I'm gonna see if I can get to the system here. I got stuff on my desktop for you. I just gotta get to play. Hang on.
You just have a few items on your desktop, John.
You know what? I hear that a lot from people. So many people saying my desktop's overwhelmed, but that's just them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play you this little video here. I'll move it over. Can you see this, Mike?
Yes, indeed. Got some tellers
Okay,
there.
So yeah, what you're looking at is, one, we now have it where multiple people can be sort of in this lobby at once, so you can go interact with other people. You can see it's still, you've got credit cards, but look at this. You can actually have us, if you want, brand for your credit union. So as you can see, this is GECU. Imagine maybe one of those folks is on, usually Fernando's here. But you can brand for your credit union within here. So if members want a sort of metaverse experience, they can go into the lobby. You'll see now that what we've allowed you to do is, I liked what Lou said. So there's CCU. So that's Corning Credit Union. We also have a whole lot of characters for people to pick from. And you can kind of see, you get to pick yourself an avatar, and they're all kind of business. We're trying to sort of walk that line between reality and functionality. But the idea is that you could have a virtual character that you pick. And once you do that, this is us actually controlling it inside the metaverse. So you can wave and your hands move and all those sorts of things. And this technology is just going to get better and better. But now you're sort of in this branch, and you can exist in this world with other people. So we thought that would be interesting. And we were able to sort of put that together to show everyone. But the next step of this will be sort of allowing people to interact with people from the credit union. So when I look at that video, and you mentioned it a second ago, when we look here, this person's sort of idle, but if someone came up and interacted with them, you're called now, and this is something I wanted to talk about a little bit. So a call center representative or somebody could sort of jump into this avatar and be that person and work with whoever it is, right? So their staff, they don't have to always be there, but if someone interacts with them, all of a sudden you could sort of be doing that creative work. Now, why would you do this in here? What's the purpose of it? Well, there are a lot of places where this is very valuable in the sense of it could have a very rich experience in terms of documents. It could have a very rich experience in terms of a face-to-face with somebody. And if you go look out front of here, which there's a quick picture of it here when you see the gentleman, let me find it here. See that car back there? You know what that is, Mike?
That looks like a Toyota Camry.
It is. It's a digital twin of a Toyota Camry. Why would you need a digital twin?
I don't know.
Let's say you buy a car, Mike.
Yes.
And they give you a link, or they give you they give you a USB stick or a link. And on that link is, we'll call it an FBX, which is like, you know what a .pdf is, right? Right. So one day you'll know what an FBX is, or a USD, depends on which one they go with. But right now we're kind of in that beta, beta VHS kind of mode. But one of these file formats, I'm going to say FBX, is going to become the norm. What's curious about this is every element of this car exactly matches yours. Meaning that if we took off this tire and we took off the hubcap would, in the context of this reality, would be the same thickness as your hubcap. It would be the same weight in this world. And inside of there, it would have the same brake plates, and it would break down just like a real car. Why would you need that?
Sorry. I'm at a loss, John. I apologize.
Well, you ever had to order parts for your car?
Sure.
And they go, which Camry do you have? And you go, I have this. Well, it depends, because can you give me the VIN? Sure. And then, because guess what? Even though this Camry was made maybe in the Fukushima plant, the ones that were made here have a different fuel filter or a different something else. So that's one use case. Okay. Imagine a digital twin of your home where they could measure all of this and tell you how much flooring that you need without coming to your house, right? But also, pretty much anything you buy like this, what if you want to drive it around in the metaverse? What if you want to drive your car that you just bought in the metaverse and park it over here and come into this world?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reality of digital twinning. So there's a lot. And also, if you wanted to add something to it, let's say you're going to put in a new stereo. Hey, you could get all the measurements, all the designs, and then, put it in virtually. And you can even go in and listen to it and decide, oh yeah, I like the sound of that. I like how the speakers are emulated. I like the whole thing. And then put it in your real car. I know it sounds crazy, but remember, we're looking at the 7 to 10 year play. So that's kind of the gig.
Okay.
So Lou, have you guys, I know you've been looking into this. What have you seen out there as far as use cases and kind of what you're looking at?
So I attended a payments forum from one of the major card brands, and they had a VR demo without any legs, and the two use cases that they had just to get you used to it. And by the way, I found that wearing the Oculus for some period of time, like my head gets very sweaty. But the two use cases,
yes, and tired.
Yeah. The two use cases were, first you go into a museum and you use the two, I don't know what you call the things your hands are in, to point at different pieces of art, and you pull up information about those pieces of art. So virtual art gallery. And then the second use case is you go into a virtual store and you order, and their demo was sneakers, and you pick out, you can pick your own color and size, and among a few, just a few sneakers, no name brands. And then you would order them, and then theoretically they'd be on their way to your real life house. So those were the two use cases. You know what the use case though that I found most intriguing to me? So I'm a Disney Parks fan, annual pass holder, and it's really expensive for a family of 4 to travel and stay in a hotel. And then it's really hot in Florida. So just imagine being able to visit any of the parks, get a virtual version of the ride that you want to go on, or any of the shows that are in the parks, and not just like coming to Disney Worlds, but now you can go to any of the parks around the world and virtually attend those parks without paying for the travel and hotel and the heat of the line. Just another use case that struck me.
You have me at heat. I am right there with you. You know, it's funny because one of the things I've been doing lately is if you go online, you can find where people have done these walkthroughs of these new Disney rides, like the Avatar Disney ride that's in the whatever it is, the kingdom there. I'm like, I really want to see that, but then I went online and I watched it in a YouTube video, and I do think you're right, Animal Kingdom. Thank you. I do think you're right. I think it could be done that way. I 100% agree that, you know, if we decided that's what we wanted to do, you know, we could do that without any problem whatsoever. And I think that the other compelling use case is that if you went there, theoretically you would buy something. No one's going to put that out there for free. And so when you buy that, what does that look like, you know, in regards to, you know, the purchase that you just made? How is that going to look from the perspective of, you know, what money will you use? Will you buy tokens? A lot of people are really believing that in the metaverse, everything is going to be sort of done with crypto. There's an arbitration there to be done. That's possible, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it could be I think it will be credit cards, no different than anything else, because why would they want to put a friction barrier between a sale and what they're trying to do? So I thought that was kind of fascinating. So give me a second here. I'm going to get on this Zoom with my metaverse thing here that I'm running, and I'm actually going to go in and wander around and show you a little bit more of the MetaBranch that we built. So to do that, I need my trusty assistant, Madison, to give me a quick link to this Zoom so I can run it from this other computer here, because I'm going to run it from my my Windows machine it's faster at displaying it. So or Melissa, either one. So if you guys will pop that up, and I'll do some I'll go in and do some mirroring so you guys can see. So let me see here. If you could put it in Teams, that would be great. There it comes. I had it here and it's just not popping up. That's it.
It's already in Teams. I sent it right before the meeting.
Yep, I see it. I just caught up.
Okay. Okay, good.
So I'm going to jump in as John Best 2, and I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to talk you through a little about what I'm going to do with it. So what I'm wearing, so you guys know, this is an Oculus Quest 2. We have had these for a long time. We bought them for all of the Innovation Club. And we actually had a meeting online with these. We all went into a meeting. I know there's a few people here who were there. It was pretty fun. We actually went in and everybody had an actual avatar of themselves, their actual person. And we had like a big conference room table, and we were able to put our presentation up on the wall, and we were able to all see it. Mike and I did something similar to this not too long ago. Where we did a display, which was, you know, pretty interesting, where I brought him into a similar meeting where he could see it. And I still want to do one where you're in with it, but we can't see, we can't seem to get Mike to work with us on that. He doesn't want to buy the Oculus. He's a cheapskate.
Well,
so
and to
buy it for him.
And to Lou's point, you didn't have legs in that little demo, John. So
I never have legs. Legs are actually verboten in the world of in that world. So okay, I'm going to go into my side quest here, and what side quest is just a platform for a way for me to display this on the screen so you can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this. I'm going to start the stream. Okay, you're looking at what I have. It looks a little funky, so give me a second here. I'm going to make it look better. Do a Quest 2 crop. Bring that down. Whoops. Oh, I have to do it again. 1 second here. Come back side quest. It doesn't like the sharing. So 1 second here. Let me just get back to get that up and running again. Come here, side quest. Quest 2 crop. And bit rate's fast. That works. Let's make sure. Yep, that's exactly what I want. And we go back into Zoom. So I'm going to go poke around and show you kind of what's going on here. So, so I am in what we call a lobby. Mike, are you able to see where I am? Should be seeing a allow device.
You are in
Okay,
a
so I'm in a
desert
lobby.
tropical area.
Right. And this, I can actually have different homes, by the way. So like if I wanted a different place to go,
Now
I
we're
could go
gone.
into
I don't
my
see it.
settings.
I don't see it anymore, John. Now we just see
killed it?
us. Yeah.
Oh, the window is closed. Screen sharing has stopped. Why did the screen sharing stop? All right, I'm just going to share the whole screen. I feel like we had this problem the other day, but let's do it again. Okay, start screen. Okay. You good? I think you're good.
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
All right, let me know if it goes away.
Okay.
Okay, so, all right, so I'm in here. So in my virtual environment, I can actually, you said I'm here, I can actually, I think I'll go to this classic home, or I could go to the studio, right? There's all these different places that I can go. I currently have it set to the desert terrace, but I could go to all these other places and have a whole different sort of a whole different world. So this is kind of like your little world that you get when you first come in. And it's interesting because in a lot of these third-party platforms, people have gone in and really customized these. Like they have all kinds of stuff lying around, little games they can play, little different things they can do, which I think is interesting. So the bubbles one, I'll apply that. Are you able to see my new world yet? Is it coming up?
Not yet. It's working on it. Oh, I saw this for a second.
Yeah, I think yeah, so this is like called bubbles. You're just kind of in a random space that isn't all that great. So I'm gonna go back into my settings here. Whoops. Come on, buddy. There we go. I'm gonna switch over and I'll just bring up one other one here. Looks like the studio, the you know, you can just have this nice studio. Are you seeing, should be able to see this in a second, Mike?
Yep, there it is.
And you can see how detailed it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so this can be sort of, this is like your desktop. If this was Windows, this is your desktop. What you're looking at here, this is your desktop. So you can think of it like that. All right, so I'm gonna go in and run an app. And the app I have to run is from unknown sources because I developed it. You can see there's a few apps in here, but I'm gonna run this MetaBranch app. And what that's gonna do is take me in to the MetaBranch. And Melissa, if you wanna, I think I had yours loaded if you wanna jump in, but for now I'll go poke around. So you can see this one, are you still able to see, Mike?
Uh-huh.
So we're looking at visions. We're looking at their actual, like these are the color scheme for their branch. You know, this is exactly how it looks. And you can see over here, I've got the people we talked about. In this case, these people are a little less designed. We actually have papers here. Can you see those?
Uh-huh.
And then if I pump this, are you able to see that, Mike?
While we're looking, oh wait, now I see it. Yeah.
So there's my balance.
Okay.
And that's a whole different view. And see, I used the member pass login. So now I can see all of my information. So imagine like, you know, that's a very different thing than having a phone and having to have that. Like, even if this was mixed reality and this could pop up in front of you and give you all your balances and you were the only one that can see it because you're looking through this, right? You can see my hands work, right? You're able to see that.
Indeed.
If you look at my regular screen, you can see me make my thumb go up and down and make it all work, right? So it's like I have real hands happening. By the way, I don't have to use these controllers either. I could just use my regular hands.
Oh.
Now, the cool part is this could easily magically switch to another credit union, right? Without having to do any extra work. Here's that digital twin. And just to show you the level of detail, I'm gonna get rid of this. Are you able to see inside there, Mike?
I see the Toyota or maybe a Honda.
See inside of it?
Yeah.
See the gear shift and the seat belts. Like this is the sort of detail that we're going to see in the future for this stuff. So,
your battery's running low.
We have a version of this. What battery? Oh,
battery's running low.
Oh, my computer.
Yeah, you might want to plug in your PC. It says.
Yeah, it's lies. Don't listen to it. It just wants gas, and we're not giving it.
Don't we all?
All right. So last thing, just to show you. So imagine that like there was another branch over there and another branch over here, or we could just do one branch and you could pop in. But I'm going to go ahead. There's another way to get around, by the way, which is see this little thing that comes up right here?
Yes.
I can just do that. And it takes me directly to it. But what if there was like a secret room I could get to? So you saw that said no entry, right?
Mm-hmm. But you're going in
anyway.
Now
I'm going in anyways. Well, that's the fun of the metaverse, right? You know, you can do those sorts of things. So I'm gonna, are you able to see me shooting these arrows?
Those are, yeah, nice bow and arrow.
I've gotten pretty good at this.
Oh, good shot.
Not that I spent a ton of time doing it, but I've had to demo it a few times, so I've gotten pretty good at. Come on, there it is. They make a satisfying like click sound, but you know that's not all it does. Like, watch this. See that circle right there, Mike? That cannon.
Yeah. Yes, I see that. Yeah.
I see this car. This guy.
Yes.
I'm gonna throw him out there, and I can drive him around. Like you couldn't do this in the branch, you know. I mean, there's not a use case for this, but the idea that you could go directly to there's a lot of guns here. You could go directly to another world. But I'll tell you what you could do in a branch. Check this out. Well, if you wanted to have a whiteboard discussion with somebody, you know, you can go and say, well, you know, this is how this is working. MetaBranch is running on the Oculus, right? And so, you know, we've got an Oculus here that has the features in it. There's a cloud platform that we're talking to, and that's how we're all able to go and connect. And there you go.
Right on.
And I'll sign my name. And that was as simple as me just figuring out how to do this. It's very intuitive. And I can just put my pen back or just throw it away. Who cares? And you can see, by the way, you see the mirror over there, Mike?
Yep.
You see this mirror? This is one of my favorite things to do. Check this out. Just to give you an idea of this tech. So this guy's got a hat, right? You see the hat?
I do.
I'm gonna put the hat on my head. And then let's see if I have a hat on. Hey, look, I'm wearing a hat. What's up? You see my mirror?
I do.
This is kind of cool, isn't it? I can take my hat off and I can tip my hat to you. In fact, I'll tip my hat to you.
Oh, thank you. Right back at you if I had a hat.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Almost like you're an invisible man. But well, this guy's mirroring my stuff. I mean, there's just so much. And what this is meant to show you is the different things. Like, hey, so if I wanted to have someone check in, I could do that. I could put information in here. I could.
We lost
it.
it.
Go.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to stop there.
Okay.
But point is that this stuff is real. And so the reason I bring it up today is because I think we're right on the cusp just before Christmas of seeing an explosion in this stuff. If one of my little gauges is, and Lou, you know I love you, but if Lou's seeing where it's going, like because when Lou sees it, he's usually ahead of the curve. Like he's like better than I am at gauging like the real when this will actually happen. And so if Lou's kind of on his way, that means it's closer than we thought. But at the same time, it's not about getting into this now. It's about understanding it and understanding like how you're going to spend money in it, understanding, you know, what people are going to use it for, because too much of this is just way out of whack for us.
Yeah.
So I'll take questions. You know, I always have a secret door. John's right. Mr. Ainsworth, just a quick question from you. You were the one that sponsored this, helped me put it together. I know this was, you know, a big part of your idea in terms of using. We just did the member pass demo for everyone. But if you can, I don't know if you can unmute. You were there, but you know, what was your experience on people demoing this at GAC?
I think they thought it was so crazy cool. Sorry, I know I'm echoing. But I think they had not thought about how to keep themselves safe, but they clearly got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing I noticed was everyone that wore it was smiling ear to ear. Did you notice that, John? Ear to ear smiling when they put it on. I thought that was pretty interesting as well. Like, what else could you give your members that would make them that happy other than money? Like just direct, here's $500. I mean, interesting stuff.
Well, that's where
and if you had said, hey, go ahead, Mike.
That's where I keep going, is what kind of segueing off what John was talking about. I'm always gravitated toward the digital ID part of it. You have to say, saying who you are, are you really who you are type of thing. So, because we're constantly, I mean, going back to my girls playing Roblox, okay, do you really think that person is who they say they are, because it's all in a virtual world. So that's where I gravitate toward, is the whole digital ID aspect of it.
Well, and I think, so that's what we're getting to, which I'm excited to announce. We're going to try to put up an online version of this. If you have an Oculus, you'll be able to download it. We'll give you instructions on how to load it. And then I'm hoping I can work with Mr. Ainsworth to do a demo version of Member Pass, so everybody can see how that kind of works inside the platform. So we're trying to get that done before the end of the year, just because I really want everyone to have that experience. And I can't encourage you, more to, to get these things in play. Good friend of mine, the CEO of Suncoast, Kevin Johnson, I was showing him this, and it was his birthday weekend. That's one of the reasons I was down there, and him and his family just had a blast with this thing. So even if you're not going to use it for everything else, it's definitely fun and exercise, but I think it has a place in our, our digital necessaries. Is that a word, Lou? I'll go with that. Digital net, your watch is sort of in that space these days. Your phone is definitely in that space. And Bluetooth headphones of some sort seem to be kind of in that space. I think we're going to see either something like this or something along those lines that's out there that's going to grow. But I thought it'd be interesting for everybody to just jump in and play around a little bit and kind of see. So with that, it's 2:00, folks.
Woo! Time flies.
If you have questions, email me, call me. Just get on the roof and scream, or reach out to me in the metaverse, whatever it is that you want to do. And as always, I can't thank all of you enough for coming. If you're interested in seeing more of that kind of stuff way earlier, go check out the Innovation Club on our Big FinTech site, or talk to Mike.
Indeed. Cool. This was awesome, John.
My pleasure. I am my own guest. So